A calm morning to you and welcome to Ways Breakfast. Hashtag what are you saying? The thought-provoking breakfast show for great minds and progressive enthusiasts. On this show, we explore fresh perspectives, pressing discussions, and inspiring stories through Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And I am Okikiola Taiwo Jalupon, and I welcome you to the show this Monday morning. As you also know, I'm never here alone. I'm with my best girl, God's Beauty. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I
How
know
are
that
you?
my energy is a bit
Nah,
low,
don't
but
worry. To come up, to come up,
it's
to
right.
come up.
It came with a lot of stories over the weekend, the
Yeah.
mood of the stories over the weekend, the realities of the story over the weekend, and the usual Monday confusion. So I'm
I can
just,
understand.
I'm just there. But how are you? How did your weekend go?
I'm good. My weekend was beautiful. I mean, it was just normal, Saturday, went to the saloon, just proper taking care of myself, really. That's literally what it is. How about you? Tell me. So
I
I'm
think I
guessing
should. I think I should call out a particular app, but I would keep it for maybe another day because of yes the current situation. But I woke up, I booked a ride for 5:50 a.m. this morning so that I can get to work as early as possible. I was trying to escape the Monday issues, but then I eventually got here really late because the app, in that sense, being the first time I'm using it, decided to drop every other person at their bus stop and then me at the last bus stop. Not even the last bus stop where it would have been easy for me to get another ride to work, but then I think that there's something up with their whole system and they
structure.
need to work on it. But basically, we're here this morning to talk about something that has been bothering, the social media, that's been bothering people's mind, people of certain states. But this conversation definitely is all about you, and I would also like to hear what you have to say. This morning we're talking about the Benue State massacre that has happened. So if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please subscribe at Official Upgrade TV. Click that subscribe button now, like and share the link. Would go on a break and then we'll return with our stories on the headlines. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Today, we're bringing you a somber and disturbing story from Benue State, where a brutal attack on the Yelewata community has left over 200 people dead and has sparked widespread protests. These protesters, mainly youths, have taken to the streets demanding justice for the victims and actions from the government to address this ongoing violence. Before we go on a break, we'll have to take the stories, but later on we'll dive deeper into the details of the attack, the protests, and the government's response. We'll also hear from an expert guest who will have here, an eyewitness, to give you a better understanding of the situation on ground. Well, this morning we have the headlines from The Punch, The Guardian, The Daily Trust, and of course the New York Times. Starting off with the New York Times. God's Beauty.
All right, straight into the New York Times newspaper. At the top left, we have the Minnesota politician dies, suspect carried the hit list. And at the top center, we have military might, protest power. Middle right, Iran made key miscalculation leading to high toll of strikes. And at the middle center, we have strong man at home, disdains conflict abroad. Bottom left, on an island of billionaires, the rich filthy has to go somewhere. And at the bottom right, which is the last headline on the newspaper, has a pulse on deportation, rates for farms, hotels, and eateries. So that's the headlines I'll be picking up. The first one is military might, power, protest power. So on June 15, 2025, that was yesterday, something symbolic happened in the United States. In one part of the country, there were grand military parades, a show of national pride, strength, and patriotism. At the same time, in another part, thousands of people were protesting, carrying signs that said things like people over billionaires. These protests were about economic injustice, saying that rich have too much power, while many ordinary Americans are struggling. Now, these two events, that's a military celebration and a mass protest, happened at the same time. That contrast tells us something deep about the United States right now. While the government is showing off its military power, many citizens are using their protest power to demand fairness and justice at home, right? So it's like two versions of America, you know, are being seen at the same time. One focused on strength abroad, the other focused on inequality at home. So I feel like this is really not far-fetched because, again, this is something that we get to see even here in Nigeria, where someone that has money intends to, you know, be above the law. And it, like I said, it's something that even here in Nigeria, we get to see it. So I just hope that, you know, the governments look into things like this. Because, I mean, look at it. In one part, we're talking about, you know, patriotism and how the military are showing their strength, their power, their unity and all of that. I mean, the fact that they've been able to serve the country well. You know, by the other end, we're seeing people carrying, you know, placards and saying that nothing is really going well for us. And it looks like, you know, the billionaires are the one, you know, suppressing us in that sense. And I just hope that, like I said, I hope that, you know, the government look into these things and ensure that these protests are, you know, the protesters are heard and whatever they are crying out for, you know, is met. So that's one. Then the other headline I want to talk about is a pause on importation, raids for farms, hotels, and eateries. So in the detail rather, we have here the United States government is temporarily halting immigration raids, targeting undocumented workers in industries like agriculture, hospitality, and food service, that is on farms, in hotels, and in restaurants. Now, many of these workers are immigrants without legal documentation, but they play a vital role in keeping farms running, food served, and hotels cleaned. Now, instead of focusing on arrest or deportation, the poll suggests a softer approach, possibly due to labor shortages in these sectors, political pressure from business owners, ongoing reforms in immigration policy. I actually feel like in cases like this, the kind of approach that we need is a softer one. Because, I mean, if you look at this, we're talking about the food supply chain, the hotels, the farm, I mean, from the farm, talking about the hotels and every other place that, you know, the food is been talked about and all. So imagine you say, it's one thing to say that, oh, there are a lot of undocumented workers there or immigrants in that sense. But then if you take a wrong approach in trying to take them and taking them back to their country, deporting them back to their country, you see that there'll be a problem now with, you know, the food supply chain. So I just hope that, you know, I mean, critics already has it here that it's important that they, you know, they use a softer approach in dealing with things like this. And I just hope that the United States government, you know, heeds this advice because it's a very crucial one. Imagine, I mean, like I said, it's one thing to say, oh, there are a lot of undocumented workers here and you don't like it. I mean, given the whole immigration, you know, stance from Trump. So it's one thing to state all of those things, another thing to now take a harsh decision. And that would eventually affect even the United States economy as a whole, because we're talking about farmers and we know how, you know, that's where, you know, the agriculture, that's where, you know, food and all of those things is taken care of. So imagine you take all the people working in the farms, you take them back to their country. How exactly do you want to start?
Personally, I'm not even looking at it from the angle of the U.S. economy in this sense. I'm looking at the angle from the people who are undocumented in that sense.
Right.
You say that undocumented according to maybe the U.S. embassy laws and that, but some of these people filed certain documents, signed certain agreements to get to that place.
Yeah.
There was a motive behind it. So I think that, as you already mentioned, that the softer approach is what should be in that case, where you're not deporting people that have, maybe some people might have lost their hands even while farming, while doing something. Anything could have happened to them. So sending them back without any support or proper transition would definitely mean worse for them rather than even the economy. I'm not really thinking about the economy. I'm thinking more about the people who have strived to get here in that sense. But taking us to the national news, The Guardian here is saying that Pope decries terrible massacre in Benue as Tinubu rallies security chief, and that's going to be the major thing we're going to be talking about today. On 2027, Shore sees no opposition, says APC controls all, and the Northeast delegates fights for Shettiman's term, second term with Tinubu. Petrol price hike, scarcity loom over Middle East tension, tankers drivers strike. And on the Daily Trust newspaper, the headline here is also screaming 2027 pushback as Northeast APC endorses Tinubu and Shettima. And then family loses 23 members as many killed in Benue attack. Dangote to begin nationwide petrol disease distribution August 15th. And last but not the least here, farmers and experts flay Agric Ministry call for prayers and fasting. And basically there's quite a number of things to say, but I really want us to, beyond even trying to talk about this whole APC petrol hike, I really want us to focus on talking about Benue State's attack and what has been happening there so far. So on this note, I wouldn't want to dive deep giving my own opinion about it. We have an expert guest who has come here to give us the real happenings. All we have seen is videos on social media, you know, people protesting, talking about what they are going through. But I'm really glad that we have someone who lives there, who is ready to, you know, also speak about it. So I don't really want to blab, blab, blab on the newspaper about what I think is. I think I'd really love to hear from him. But basically, that's all we have on the headlines today. We'll go on a break right now and then return with our topic for today. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the show. As I said, today's topic is quite sensitive and saddening. It's Benue State Massacre, and the one that recently happened is the Yelewata massacre that happened, killing over 200 people. And now there's been protests and calls for justice. And the Benue State Massacre has sparked widespread protests and calls for justice, with thousands of angry youths taking to the streets to demand action from the government. The protests, which began on Sunday, June 15, 2025, were triggered by the brutal attack on the Yelewata community in Goma local government area, resulting in over 200 deaths. Protesters have blocked major roads, including Abuja-Makurdi Highway, disrupting traffic and causing gridlock, seeking for justice. These protesters are also demanding justice, not just for the state, but for the victims, and are requesting full enforcement of the anti-open grazing law. They're also asking for the immediate deployment of security forces and arrests and prosecution of the attackers. The protests also turned chaotic at some point, where police fired tear gas, you know, to disperse this crowd, resulting in stampedes, injury, and chaos. And so far, the government response has been neither here nor there, but security operatives have been deployed to the scene to maintain peace and order. And the Benue State government has warned against unlawful gatherings and confrontations, particularly by youths in the wake of escalating tensions. But these protesters have vowed to continue the demonstration until their concerns are addressed. And one protester, Unzamba Agata, tearfully revealed that she has lost mother and 5 children in the massacre, urging the federal government to take decisive action to end the violence. But this morning we have Dr. Uto Thaddeus Totiv, who is the president of RAV Development Association. He's a retired director, General Services and Administration, and the former acting chairman, Gwe West and Kwande Local Government of Benue State. Welcome, sir.
Thank
Dr.
you very
Uto.
much. Yeah.
Before we even go straight into talking about what could have been, what is, and what can change, let me first send my condolences to the people who have, lost their family, friends, and people due to this massacre that maybe for some reasons could have been managed or avoided. But first, I would want to know what the situation report is in Benue State.
Well, I want to first and foremost appreciate you for the opportunity given to me this morning to talk on the issue, the pogrom that is going on in Benue State. It is very unfortunate that I personally don't know the reasons behind what is happening in Benue State. It is very sad, and the government of the day is not doing the needful. To the best of my knowledge, I know that we are left to be killed by the Fulani killers. This thing is ongoing. There's no day that passes by without hearing side news of Benue people being killed by the Fulanis. And one unfortunate thing is that you cannot identify their place of residence. They are not in Benue State. They come from Nasarawa. The other come from Nasarawa or from Taraba and attack us, kill our people, and go. This is the situation we have found ourselves. The situation is such that it looks like we are in a war situation. And people, or rather, government officials are always saying it is herders and farmers' crisis. This has gone beyond that. What we are seeing is actually war. The Fulanis have their own agenda, and I think government complicity is also something to be worried, because the speech, the press release we got from Asorok or Villa, presidential Villa, yesterday has speaking volume against us, because I know that government knows the people that are attacking us. After each attack, Miatala leaders in Benue State and Nigeria at large claim responsibility for the killings, and nobody has arrested any of them. And a situation where the federal government is directing that our state governors should go and reconcile with the people who are killing us is worrisome. Worrisome in the sense that according to our governor, he says the people that are killing us are foreign Fulanis. I don't know how he will be able to talk to them when they are foreigners. I don't know where they're staying, but he says he knows them, they are foreign Fulani. So he may be able to reconcile them with us, but I don't know, how can you reconcile somebody who is not your neighbor? Somebody who has come somewhere to take over your land, your ancestral land, with impunity, then you are saying that you should go and reconcile. Benue people doesn't have problem. We don't have internal crisis. This is a war situation of a situation that we don't even know how to define it. The reason is that we have never been coexisting with the Fulanis. Fulanis are not indigenous of Benue State. How do you say we should reconcile with them? How are we reconciling with these people that have come somewhere to take over our land? It is more than hurtful. It's more than hurtful. We have never had these things. It is just terrible. Talking on the part of the peaceful protesters, the youth, The youth felt disenchanted with what is happening in their land. You can imagine over 200 people have been killed on a day. Just one day, 200 people are killed. As I'm talking to you, I don't know my hope of existing next tomorrow, because it looks like we have been earmarked for elimination, because the government is not even doing anything to stop what is happening in Benue State. Right from the state governor, he has a lot of theories concerning what is happening in the state. Sometimes he identify people that our killers as the politicians from Abuja. When you want to look at it, and he says they're foreigners, they're religious bandits and all that. So we don't know. We are in a dilemma. We are just waiting. Each and every one of us is waiting for the day that it will come and then claim our lives. It is. I want to also let you know that as a result of this, most indigenes of Benue State have run away from Benue. A good number of my people from my West local government are no longer at home. As I speak to you, West local government being my local government of indigenes, made up of 15 council wards. Nobody, no single person is staying in his home. They are all pushed to the headquarters. And even in that headquarters is threatened, is under threat. You can imagine the headquarters of Benue State. These people have infiltrated the headquarters of Benue State and are killing people. You heard it recently that they killed people in North Bank, up to 25 people. The Yeriwata that we are talking about is not up to 20 kilometers away from Makudi. So I don't understand what is happening, but I want to let everybody know that what is happening in Benue State is not headers and farmers crisis, but it is a war situation.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Honestly, I'm much short of words at this point, because I saw a video that went on social media showing how children and homes were displaced in that sense. And when you mentioned that you're not even assured of... When you even mentioned that you're not assured of...
Something has to be done, and it has to be done fast. Otherwise, you can imagine between 2023 that this government came on board, the number of casualties, the number of people that we have lost in Benue State are more than the previous governments of Akume, Siswam, and Otom. What kind of nonsense is that? And each time the government of the state is talking on this issue, you don't see the seriousness and the empathy on the part of the government. You look at them as if they just discuss it casually. So if a letter comes from the federal government calling on the governor to reconcile, it then means it is the report that the federal government has gotten. We should start making schematic about this thing that is happening. It is a serious matter. I want to call on everybody to make sure that they come to our aid. Otherwise, we are being destined to finished. In fact, I want to call on Benue people to turn themselves to God. Otherwise, the help is not coming from anywhere. We have a social contract with people. We put them in government, and the people are not even taking care of our welfare. And the worst of it all is that the primary objective of any responsible and sensitive government, which entails protecting and defending the people, is not done in Benue State. We are not being defended. We are not being protected. Our enemies are killing us. And from what is on the ground, we cannot define who is our enemy, because the enemies are being protected and are being defended on the pages of papers that sometimes they accuse the Benue people of being responsible for what is happening. It is most uncalled for.
Doctor, thank you very much. Reading the president's tweet yesterday, he mentioned that he had he has been briefed on the senseless bloodletting in Benue State, and he's saying enough is enough, and that he has directed the security agencies to act decisively, arrest perpetrators of these evil acts on all sides of the conflict, and prosecute them. Political and community leaders in Benue State must act responsibly and avoid inflammatory utterances that could further increase tension and killings. And this is the time for Governor Ali, I believe, is the governor of Benue State, to act as a statesman and immediately lead the process of dialogue and reconciliation that will bring peace to Benue. He's saying that our people must live in peace, and it is possible when leaders across the divides work together in harmony and differences are identified and addressed with fairness. I think that for me, I had to read this out because this is coming from the #1 citizen of Nigeria. But just like you mentioned, that how do you dialogue something that you don't know? How do you dialogue something that you're not aware of? I think that at this point is something that since last month we've been reading headlines with Benue attacks, Benue attacks, Benue attacks. And at this point, people are asking, why is there not a state of emergency at this point? Why is there not a military? But he's saying that he has deployed security agencies. So I'm asking the question, have you found any security agents in Benue?
Yeah,
have they covered those places that have been attacked? Have they covered your area where it seems that an attack has not happened yet, but as you have mentioned, anything could happen at any time?
Yeah, the security personnel have been deployed in Benue State, and I want to say that they are not doing the needful. The reason is that most of our killings are done at the close sight of the security men. Like the recent one that happened in West local government, Obiam is a place where there is this military base. And the people of Obiam were killed by the Fulanis. And the worst situation is that most people who even ran to the base were driven away by the personnel. And in the course of retreating back, they were killed. So it looks like there is a holistic compromise about Benue State. The gun is at the heart of Makudi metropolis. You know, Makudi, when you come to Makudi, that is the base of security. All manners of securities are based here. But when it was happening at Agan, the thing took more than 3 hours and no presence of security men were there. And the Fulanis came and killed our people and went without any encounter from the security operatives. So we don't know the issue of the recent press release from the federal government has made the people of Benue in a hopeless, because we were thinking that the federal government will speak volume on this issue. But when the federal government directed our governor to come and reconcile with us, as if the problem is an internal problem, that is our worry. Our worry is that this issue is not an internal issue. We have no internal squabbles. We are living as the people of Benue. Benue is made up of Tiv, Idoma, Itro, Igede, and There's no single person that is a Fulani man in our environment. We are just seeing them these few years, and they have come with problems. They are killing our people, sending them away from their ancestral land. So I don't know, but they say the governor should come and reconcile. I don't know how he will be able to identify those actors to reconcile with them. But the fact of the matter is that everybody in Nigeria know that the problem of Nigeria, as far as security is concerned, is militarily. They always claim being responsible for the killings, and nobody has one day arrested them. I don't know the political statement that is being made by the federal government on this matter. This thing has passed that level. We should be thinking of how we stop these things. Otherwise, we are doomed to be exterminated on this planet.
Thank you so much, Doctor. This story is actually a very, very sad one, and I am actually angry. I am pissed. I'm feeling all the emotions right now, and I really would not want to talk too much, right, so that I don't talk past. But then I want us to, send a direct message to the president, the governor of the state, the deputy governor, and the local councillors, because again, it's a community. So I'm confused on what exactly each of these persons are doing. Sometimes it feels like we don't know our job here in Nigeria, and everybody just has different names. Or you just know you're a president, and you just keep it moving like that. So I want us to send a direct message. What exactly do the citizens of Benue State, what do they need right now? What should be done right now? I need that. I need us to, talk on that. What exactly do you want them to do right now? Because to be honest, like I said, it feels like these people don't even know what they are doing. It's one thing to say you want to deploy people, to go to a particular community and take care of the place. And just like you said, it's one thing to go there, but you're not active, you're not working. Then what are you doing there? Do you understand? It's not enough, really, because again, this is something that happens almost every time. This whole Benue issue has been happening for the longest of time. And tell me how, the solution you can bring out or prefer is telling people, security agents, to go there to go and do what? Again, there's no structure to these things. You just feel like we like talking and there's no action. We are always talking. We always have mouth. We are always talking, but then nothing is being done. So please, I feel like probably they don't know any better. That's the excuse I want to give them. They don't know any better. So let's talk about, what exactly should be done. What processes, what policies, long term. Because this is something that should never happen again. It should not happen again, please. This should not happen again.
Doctor, before you answer...
Thank you very much.
Before you answer that, I would want to read a comment, and we'll go on a quick break. And then when we return, I'd like you to take the question God's Beauty has asked. There's a comment on our YouTube page from Nikon TV saying, we don't have government in this country. If we really do, then their focus should be on the safety of their citizens and not on second tenure. People are hungry, afraid of going to the farm, and yet the government are silent. And it's on this note that we'll just take a breather from all of this and then come back with Doctor's response to God's Beauty's question. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the show. We still have Doctor here who's been speaking on, or giving us a situation report on the Benue State massacre and the calls for justice and the situation of security agencies and the protesters. God's Beauty rightly asked him a question of what is needed in Benue State at this moment. with the directives of the community leaders, the governor, the deputy governor, and all of them in view. What does Benue need? So I would really like Doctor to just answer that.
Yeah, thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to appreciate your position on this matter. This is the kind of position that we want people in authority to have on this issue. First and foremost, I want to advise our governor to quickly implement anti-grazing, anti-open grazing law that has been put in place since 2017. The law says that there should not be any open grazing in Benue State. And it is a law. It is a state law. Even though it is a state law, but it's people's law, because this law will stop these things that people are saying is herders and farmers crisis. But me, I look at it from a different point of view. The one I told you, that what is happening is beyond that. However, implementing that law will, to some extent, people will stop insinuating that it is a herders and farmers crisis. Then they will focus on the problem that is on ground. What is on ground basically is to eliminate the people of Benue State and take over the land. By who? This is my question, begging for answers. So the governor of the state should sit up, because the primary objective of any responsible and responsive government is to protect the people that are under the governor's jurisdiction. So he's not doing enough. And I want him to take a delegate of Benue citizens, people that matters in Benue, to the presidency. And then they will give the president the complete view of what is happening in Benue State. If he's afraid to go and tell Mr. President that this is what is happening, as he used to describe as schematics, he should take people there, people who will talk to the authority. Because these things requires talking to the authority. Let the authority know the situation on ground, so that they will not take it as just mere crisis and schematics in the state. That is my take. My advice is that first and foremost, the governor should sit up and address this thing holistically and look at it as a problem that even if he fails to do it, it is a failure on the part of the government. And as I speak to you, it appears there's no government in Benue State. There is a systematic failure of the government of Benue State, and by extension, Nigeria. So those people in authority should sit up and see that the program discontinue. Otherwise, we are going to take another dimension. Because if the Fulanis, the foreign Fulanis, are authorized to move about with AK-47 and other dangerous ammunitions, and anybody in Benue State, in an attempt to move with a sharp knife, you'll be arrested by the security men deployed to Benue State. So I don't really know that they have come to defend us. They are rather come to supervise what is going on in Benue State. They should also allow us to show, to also defend ourselves, just as it has been called by prominent Nigerians elsewhere. So the governor should see that recently the Till Traditional Council gave a marching order that the Fulanis, the headers, should vacate Till land. At a point, the whole of Traditional Council in Benue State made the same declaration. And they gave them 14 days. I don't know whether 14 days has not passed. up to today, there's no action. So it has come to a point that we will not tolerate, because if they want us to be still be part of Nigeria, as they used to say, they should also protect us. If they're not protecting us, we will all come out and defend ourselves.
Local government autonomy ineffective.
Thank you.
Time, I want to call on the state and federal government to make sure that the local government autonomy has come to reality. Because if the local government authorities have their resources, they can also combat these things. What kind of nonsense is that? The money that is meant for our local governments are taken away by the state governors. And these people don't even do what is expected of them. So we want a situation where if they're saying there's an autonomy, let it be autonomy that we know. We have been in the system. We know what autonomy means. Like I talked to you, if we go to a local government chairman now, even to fuel his car to Makudi is a difficult thing. In a situation where internal revenue is no longer possible because of the insurgent, it is a problem. So the federal government should lord on the state governors to implement local government autonomy. It is a tier of government. What is compounding the problem in Benue State is lack of implementation of local government autonomy. If it is implemented, the local government authorities will hold them responsible for not defending us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have mentioned beyond what is happening that there's also a systematic problem in that sense where people who are supposed to be the frontliners have no resources to do so. But from the visuals of the massacre, we saw a lot of houses being burnt, like I mentioned, a lot of children, a lot of lives were lost. But you, in the beginning of the conversation, you mentioned how certain communities have their own, has had their own locality and what they do. So if I'm going to ask you, how do you get access to move from one community to the other, especially in communities that have been taken over by these Fulani headsmen, if that is the name that will give these people at this point, these foreign Fulani headsmen? How do you navigate, or how do people now navigate from one community to the other?
It is very difficult, like the case of Gwa West local government that is made up of 15 council wards. The whole 15 council wards, the people have been pushed to the local government headquarters. In any attempt to assess your land, you find yourself dead. So moving around is even a difficult situation. What we want now is that if the federal government is out to defend us, the state and federal government is out to defend us, they will send the security men and then flush out these terrorists. I don't want to call them headers. They are terrorists. The federal government is refusing to declare them as terrorists. And that is why we are always accusing them of being compromising on the situation. If they are not compromising, they should address this holistically, and then we know, because they know the problem. The problem is Fulani terrorists. They are the people that are disturbing us and killing us in Benue State. You cannot assess. If you come to Gwa West, for instance, where I know better, you cannot go to the next community. Everybody is pushed to the headquarters. The roads that the rural roads that were used were no longer, because since 2015 to date, nobody has assessed his village. As I talk to you, I'm a victim. I'm a very serious victim. I buried my mother in the year 2021, and up to today, I've never been to the village. Even when that was done in my village, it was done under tight security. And in my village, from the headquarters of the local government, is just 5 kilometers. You can imagine from just a distance of 5 kilometers, you cannot access your village, all to the number of years talking. This thing is something serious. If we are not taking it serious, one day it will affect the entire nation. So what I am saying basically now is that the local government authorities are in a hopeless and helpless situation because they don't have the resources to go about these things. And the local communities are also, like in Benue State, some of the communities have not assessed their farmland for over 10 years. So there's poverty in the land. There's hunger in the land. People are dying on a daily basis. Even when the killers have not visited them, we are still dying as a result of their action. And the inaction of the Benue State government is too much to be accommodated.
Thank you very much, Doctor. At this point, I think that's what my concluding statement will be, is that action needs to be taken. It's late for action, so it means that they have to do triple the work to get this thing fixed as soon as possible. We have families and friends who live here in Benue State. Some have been lost, and some we don't even know what could happen tomorrow. And that's why I've mentioned that I don't even know what state or how I should give you a consoling speech, that I admire your strength to still stay back to ensure that your community works for you, and the fact that you have not joined other people to flee in that sense. I know some of them have fled for their own safety and their own lives in this sense, but thank you very much first for staying back to give situation reports and also tell us what is really, happening there. Thank you for holding Benue State together at this point, because it's now beyond the government. It's the fact that you have decided, to stay back, to hold your community. You are ready to fight for your state, because this is, of course, your ancestral land, and no one should have the right over what belongs to you or what you grew up knowing all your life. Everybody fights for what belongs to them and what they know. So thank you for staying strong. I pray that your family remains steadfast also while this war is going on. And I hope it comes to an end also as soon as possible, before anything gets, close to you or even around people that you love. We can't go further in this conversation because we have to, our time is fast spent at this point, but I would be reaching out to you constantly. Let's know some of the things that you have said here. Let's hope that it also gets to the government and they can take cue. I hope that the governor of Benue State also sits up, as you have mentioned. This is not the time to be dialoguing or be lackadaisical about situations of the citizens of your state. Maybe they are not related to you by blood, and this is talking to the governor, might not be related to you by blood in any ways, but these are people, you are the statesman of these people. These are people that you have vowed, to protect in all your words. So please take the cue now to protect them now from the same place that you have also come from. This is also your ancestral land at this point. So please take cue to protect the citizens of your state. And basically, this is where we wrap up today's show. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us. And thank you to our, viewers who have also joined us to make contributions and also give their insights on this conversation. Of course, God's beauty. It's been an emotional ride this morning. So thank you so much for sticking around. Yes.
Thank you.
I'll see you again tomorrow. I hope you have, a safe week in that sense and a blessed week. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?